Hello everyone, this is Andrew from Crown Academy of English, and today we are going to be doing a grammar lesson, and we are going to look at the difference between the word all and every. So people very often get confused between those two words, so we're going to look at the differences between the words and when do we use all and when do we use every. Let's get started. So, on this photograph, we can see there are 3 ducks, 3 yellow ducks. This duck is yellow, the first one. The second one is yellow. The third one is yellow. So, we can say all of the ducks are yellow. All of the ducks are yellow. The word of is inside brackets because the word of is optional. So we can either say all the ducks are yellow or all of the ducks are yellow. It's the same. We can also use the word every. Every duck is yellow. Every duck is yellow. So both of these sentences are correct and both of them mean the same thing. So the meaning is the same. Okay? So you have a choice in this instance of either saying all or every. Now, there is a rule of the grammar structure of when we use the word all. And if you can see it, you can see the word all, after it, the word duck is in plural. So when we use the word all, the noun must go into the plural. Okay? And because the noun here, because ducks is now plural, the verb is also plural. So this is the verb to be in the, let me just think, the third person plural. So are. Okay. And when we use the word every uses the singular form of the noun. So every duck. And because duck is singular, then the verb is singular as well. So this is the third person singular of the verb to be. So this is the rule. When we use the word all, we must use the plural afterwards. And when we use the word every, the noun must go in the singular form. Now let's look at 2 more examples. So here are some chocolate cakes. This cake is made of chocolate. This cake is made of chocolate. This cake is made of chocolate. So we can say all of the cakes are chocolate cakes. So all followed by the plural. Cakes are chocolate cakes. And we can also say the same meaning, but a different way of saying it. We can use the word every, and we say every cake is a chocolate cake. So every and cake in singular form is a chocolate cake. So both of those sentences mean the same thing. And the last example, here we have a child who looks happy, and this child is happy. This child is happy. So here we say all of the children are happy. And remember that child is an irregular noun, and in the plural, the plural of child is children. So we have all followed by the children, which is plural, and we say they are happy. And if we want to use the word every, again, we use every plus singular. So every child is happy. Okay, so the most important thing to remember is all plus plural and every plus singular. Now, there are just another couple of exceptions. We cannot always use all and every for the same uses. Sometimes we can only use the word all. And one example is if we want to use a possessive pronoun, then we can only use the word all. We cannot use the word, we cannot use the word every. So what is a possessive pronoun? Well, here they are. The possessive pronouns are words like my, your, his, her, its, our, and their. So these possessive pronouns are used to indicate possession, that somebody owns something. And if we want to use one of these words in our sentence, then we must only use the word all. We cannot use the word every. So if we want to use a possessive pronoun, it is okay to use the word all. So we can say all and then a possessive pronoun. That is okay. But we cannot use the word every. That is wrong. Example. So here we can see there are some tablets, some medication. Okay, so the tablets are brown in color. And if we want to use the word your, if we want to say that they are your tablets, we must use the word all. So we can say all of your tablets are brown. That is correct. But we must not say every your tablets. So if we use the word your, then every is wrong. We cannot say every. So this is wrong. And that is wrong. So even plural or singular, they are both wrong. Okay? Do not use every with any of these possessive pronouns. Another example. Here we have some sweets, and they are all in like a heart shape. So we would say all of their sweets, so if the sweets belong to them, third person plural, that is okay. We can say all of their sweets are hearts. But we must not use the word every, because this is a possessive pronoun and we must not use every with possessive pronouns. So every there is wrong. Now, similar, if we want to use something called a demonstrative, we can only use the word all. So what is a demonstrative? Well, in English, these are words like, well, the singular would be this and that, and in the plural, it is these and those. Now, for this lesson, we are only interested in the plural. because all and every are only referring to nouns in the plural. So this lesson we are just looking at the word these and those. So the rule is similar to the possessive pronoun. If we want to use the word these and those, then we can only use all. We must not use every. So all followed by these and those is correct, but we must not use every. Every, we cannot say every these or every those. That is wrong. Example. So we have some eggs. The eggs are fresh. And so we can say all of these eggs are fresh. That is fine. That is okay. But every these eggs are fresh is wrong. So we cannot use every. We cannot use every with these. We can only use all. So every these egg is fresh. That is wrong as well. The singular or plural, both of them are wrong. Example 2. So we have some nice looking oranges. And I think these oranges come from Spain. We all know Spain grow the nicest oranges. And so we can say all of those oranges are from Spain. That is okay. That is correct. But we cannot say every those oranges. That is wrong because it's the word every. So the conclusion here is if we want to use the word these or those in our sentence, then we must use the word all. Okay? All plus an uncountable noun. Well, what is an uncountable noun? Well, the definition looks complicated, but it is actually quite simple. An uncountable noun is something that we cannot separate into different parts. We cannot count them. And the best is if I give you an example. For example, the word milk. We do not say 1 milk, 2 milks, 3 milks. We just say milk. It is a word that only exists in the singular form. The same for music. It is a general word that only exists in the singular. We do not say 1 music, 2 musics, 3 musics. We just say music. Okay? And so when we want to use these words, we can only use we must only use the word all. We cannot say every. We cannot say every furniture, every music, every milk. So we must use all. We must not use every. Example. Stephen likes rock music. Stephen likes jazz music. And Stephen also likes classical music. So we can say Stephen likes all music. Okay? So this is the uncountable noun. And notice this time the word stays in the singular. Okay? And we do not use the word the. So there is no article. There is no definite article. We say the word all. and then the uncountable noun, which always stays in the singular. So this is wrong. We must not say Stephen likes every music. That is just nonsense. That does not make any sense. It doesn't mean anything, and grammatically it is wrong. So just to remember, if it is an uncountable noun, you can only use the word all. And there is another meaning of the word all, and it means the whole of. Let me give you an example of what we mean. So here we can see there is a cake. Okay. Now imagine that somebody eats this slice of the cake, and then he eats another slice of the cake, and then he eats this slice of the cake, and then he eats the last slice of the cake. So we can say, my friends ate all of the cake. So all here, it means everything, the whole of the cake. It's another way of saying the whole of. Okay, so my friends ate all of the cake. And in this context, my friends ate every cake is wrong in this example, because this sentence means that there are several cakes, but there aren't several cakes. There is one single cake. So this is wrong. Okay, we must say my friends ate all of the cake. It means the whole of the cake. However, instead of talking about the cake itself, if we talk about a slice of the cake, then yes, we can now say my friends ate all the slices of the cake. Okay, and in this case, then we use the word all and then the plural, like we saw at the beginning. And if we are talking about slices of the cake, then yes, it is okay in that case to use the word every. We can then say, my friends ate every slice of the cake. So this is an example of what we saw at the beginning of the lesson. So every followed by a singular noun. Okay? And finally, a very, very common use of the word all and every is when we're talking about time and duration, okay, and regular events. So, for example, if we are talking about I wake up in the morning, okay, and I start work at 6 o'clock, for example. So I start work early in the morning, and I work until the night. So I start work in the morning, I finish working at night. We can say, yesterday I worked all day. So all day means this is a duration. It means I started at the beginning of the day and I finished at the end of the day. So we use the word all followed by a time expression, and it means a duration of time. So all followed by day, it means I worked and I started at the beginning of the day and I finished at the end of the day. It's a duration. Now, on the other example, we can say, for example, last week I worked on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So we can say, last week I worked every day. So can you see the difference? So every followed by day, this is referring to a regular event in time. Okay, so there's a difference between all day and every day. And that is the difference. Okay. So examples of words we can say here, we can say all week, and that would mean we start on Monday and we finish on Sunday. We can say all month, all morning, all year. And the same for every. We can say every week, every month, every morning, every year. So this is a regular event that is repeated over time. And this is a duration. So we are now going to test your knowledge and we're going to do an exercise. So I want you to fill in the gaps. You have to decide if the answer is all or every. So, for example, there's a flight from Paris to London, something day. So what is the correct word? Should we say all or every? What do you think? Well, the answer is every. Okay, we are talking about something that's happening regularly. And so we say every day. Okay, so now there are going to be 7 questions. And you will see the question. And then there will be 10 seconds before the answer appears on the screen. So if you need more than 10 seconds, just press pause on the video. Okay, so get ready. You'll might need a pen or paper. Get ready. Question 1. So, the weather is very hot. All the animals are in the water. So this is an example of what we saw at the beginning. When we use the word all, it is followed by a noun in the plural. Question 2. Yesterday, the neighbor's dog barked all day. So again, this is a duration. We're talking about yesterday. And the dog barked for the duration of the day. So we must use the word all. Question 3. Thousands of tourists visit Buckingham Palace every week. Now this time we're talking about something that happens regularly. So we use the word every. Question 4. My father likes red wine, white wine and rosé wine. He likes all wine. So this is an example of an uncountable noun, because we cannot say one wine, two wines, three wines. No, we just say wine, and it's always in the singular. We cannot count wine. So we can only use the word all. He likes all wine. Question 5. Yesterday there was a storm. Today every boat in the port is damaged. So here we are using, we can see that the noun is in the singular form. It's in the singular and the verb is singular. So that means we are using the word every, because every is followed by a noun in the singular form. If we wanted to use the word all, we could have said, today all of the boats in the port are damaged. That would also be correct. Question 6. Look at all those birds in the trees. So it must be the word all because, well, first of all, it's plural. And second, this is a demonstrative word. We saw that earlier. Because we are using the word those, then we cannot use the word every. So we must use the word all with the word those. And the last question, question 7. My sister has borrowed all my CDs. And again, remember the rule we saw earlier. This is a possessive pronoun. This is a word my, it's a possessive pronoun. It means the CDs of me, that belong to me. So we can only use the word all. We must not use the word every. So that is the end of the lesson. Thank you very much for listening and watching. If you are not yet subscribed, then please go ahead and you can click right here on the screen to subscribe to my channel. And if you liked the video, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and click on the like button below. And also feel free to share the video on Facebook or on Twitter if you have a Twitter account. That would help me to promote my channel. And if you have any questions at all, then please leave a comment and ask a question. Just say hello, and I will answer all the questions, any comments that you might make. Okay, thank you very much again for watching, for listening. This is Andrew from Crown Academy of English. Bye bye, and I'll see you very soon.